All right, guys. So, welcome to this first lesson. Now, in this lesson, we're going to go through these worksheets here. And these worksheets are very important because it's going to create what we call an avatar. And the reason why you want to create an avatar, number one, it helps you to get in front of the right person, right? Get their attention. Also, two, it helps to create content for this individual, okay? And number three, when you go to do Facebook ads or YouTube ads, you already have um, the data that you already need just to kind of plug and play. So, real quick, I'm going to go through these worksheets. And guys, I mean, this is a real important part of marketing because if you just kind of advertise to anyone or everybody, your message is going to be weak and it's going to sound like noise. But if you get very specific to a certain person, then you will get through to that person quicker, and you will be not noise, but you will be more of a message sent from God, let's say, or something like that. Because you know, now just to clarify, you can have more than one avatar. Okay, so you could do this worksheet 5 times for 5 different types of people, and you'll see exactly what I mean when I go through this worksheet. So the very first thing, if you already know who has bought from you or joined you in the past, up here you will just type in where it says, evaluate who has bought or joined you in the past. You'll just kind of put their information in here, whether they're male, female, what age they are, etc. Okay. But then if you don't know, and also too, in the upcoming videos, I'm going to be sharing with you a tool that I use if I don't know who my avatar is. And it's really simple to use as well, and it's free. All right, so the first thing you want to do is you want to choose the age. And as you can see here, I have 18 to 24, 25 to 34, 35 to 44, 45 to 54, and 55 to 64, 65 plus. Now, just so you understand, how you communicate with someone who's 55 to 64 is totally different from someone who's 18 to 34, right? Or 18 to 24, because when they're that young, they're not thinking about anything probably but having fun, hanging with friends, and so forth and so on. Someone who's 55 and 64, they're retired most likely. They have grandkids. Their whole life or outlook on life is totally different. So this is why you want to segment your ages and stuff like that. So you just circle which one. So if you want to start with someone who's 25 to 34, you just circle that. And then you'll circle whether they're male or female. Okay. And then their location. Where are they located? Are they located in the United States? Are they located in the UK, Canada? You get it, right? So you put right there. And then you circle whether they're American Indian, Asian, Black, Hispanic, white, or other, right? Because once again, certain ethnicities respond to certain messages, okay? So, and then here you put what language they speak, okay? Then the next page here, you're going to circle what education level they are. Do they have an associate's degree, college, doctorates, high school grad, because just to be clear, guys, someone who is has a master's degree and someone who's just a high school grad, those are two different types of people. You get what I'm saying? And also, too, guys, like I said, you can begin to think, okay, if I'm someone who has my master's degree, what type of books or what associations will I be in? You start to kind of think like a detective and trying to figure out this stuff here so that you can get very super specific on who you want to get in front of. Then the next thing you want to do is you want to circle the monthly income. Are they, $1,000 or less, or $1,000 to 5,000, 5,000 to 10,000, all the way up to 100K plus. The reason why you do this, once again, is because someone who's making $100,000 or more, the message to them is going to be totally different from someone who's only making $1,000 to $5,000 a month. Once again, Next thing is the home ownership. Are they first-time home buyers? Are they home buyers? Are they renters? Then you go down to marital status, okay? Are they married? Are they divorced? Are they widowed? Are they engaged? Now, guys, if you understand that you're talking to married people or someone who's divorced, you can really get creative as far as your messaging, especially if you are in a network marketing company. You can say, hey, you can't really say, hey, are you recently divorced on Facebook, because that's kind of calling them out, and that's kind of like a negative thing. But let's just say you say something like having tough times, or these times are really tough for most people, especially if you're single or maybe recently divorced. Well, I have a 3-step strategy that's going to show you how to 3 times or 5 times or 10 times your income within the next 90 days. Click the button down below and watch the free training that I'm going to give to you. You see how powerful that is? Or if they're married, you can have something like, especially if they're male, are you head of household? If so, you're probably thinking, how can I get through these tough times with my family? Because I don't want to lose my home, right? Because I'm the head of the household. So you could say, same kind of thing, right? Find out my 3-step formula that will 10 times your income within the next 90 days, right? But you see how I lead with different types of, emotional triggers. One was single, you're recently divorced, you're paying all the bills by yourself. I'm hitting pain points that divorced people will actually probably go through. Versus someone who's married, who's a male, had a household, something different, like, hey, you have a responsibility, you have a family to look over or to look after, so let me show you my 3-step formula to 10x 10x your business in the next 90 days. This here is very important, guys. Do not skip this, because also too, when you go through Facebook and you start to set your targeting, right? You just target married. I mean, you can literally go through these sheets and just look through and say, okay, master's degree or high school grad, first-time homeowner, married. You know what I'm saying? This right here will help you to get in front of the right people. Because I always say, when you get the right message in front of the right person on the right media, that's what creates income. That's what creates a winning campaign, when you have those 3 things lined up. Because you can have the right message to the wrong market, right, or the wrong person on the right media, and it will flop. Okay, so you got to make sure you have all 3 of those things lined up, and that's, once again, it's the right message to the right market on the right media. All right, so now the next thing is anniversaries. If you're selling something that can be an anniversary gift or can be a special package, yeah, you can include this. I mean, and one thing that's super, what you're going to find out later when we get to the Facebook ads part, is that you can get super specific. If someone's having an anniversary in the next upcoming 30 days or in May, you can say, hey, I know you have an anniversary coming up in the next 30 days. Here's a few gift ideas, or here's a few things that you can do while you're quarantined, or you know what I mean? You can get really creative. I mean, that's why this here, going through this step here, is very, very, very important. Then the next thing is birthday months. Once again, it'll say, target someone who has a birthday coming up in June or January or February, you know what I mean? And now you could do the same thing. Hey, having a birthday, I know your birthday is around the corner. You could say, here's a gift from us to you just for, celebrating your birthday. You get what I'm saying? So this is something that you can do as well. And guys, what you're doing here, so you understand, is you're creating your avatar so that you can communicate with them. Now, this is just not communications with ads. These are communications on email, all right? Even email follow-up sequence, Facebook post, you name it. I mean, when you really do these worksheets, it's going to start to come together, okay? So let's go to the next sheet. So the next sheet is whether they're parents. So you have new parents, all parents, parents with preschoolers, parents with early school age children, parents with preteens, parents with teenagers, parents with toddlers, parents with adult children. Each one of these segments are going to have a different response based on who it is. So someone with a toddler, right, or newborn, they just got a baby, so now you think, okay, someone who just, um, you know, birth this baby, or whether it's the father, you're a new father, you can speak to them differently. I mean, our goal is to get their attention, compel them to take action, and then convert them over into a sale. That's ultimately what we want to do. But see, when you do these type of things, and like I said, it's not just one avatar and that's it. You're going to have an avatar for male and an avatar for female, depending on your product. You might have a product that's totally for males, and you might have a product that's totally for females. But when you have different avatars with these specific certain things, a parent with adult children, that's one avatar. A parent with toddlers, that's another avatar. A parent with early school age children, that's another avatar. You get what I'm saying? So you can do this multiple times. Now, depending on your budget, you might want to do one or two at a time just to test and see which one's really going to work for you. But going through these sheets and understanding who it is that you're talking to is going to make it super, super successful. Trust me when I tell you. All right. Then the next thing is politics. Now, I don't really get into the politics things. It depends on the product. You know what I mean? But you can go here, you can skip this part, or you can circle whether they're conservative, liberal, it it don't really matter. I mean, it's just, honestly, I really don't use this step a lot. I have this on my sheet because these are the questions I ask my clients when I sit down with them. I go through this same exact worksheet and I ask them these things. Some of it doesn't apply, they'd be like, hey, I don't have no clue. Then you just put NA, doesn't apply. So then the next thing is the workplace, where do they work at? Are they working at the beauty industry? Are they in caretaking, construction, cooking, delivering, driver, electrician, are they a firefighter, nurse, office, police officer, retail, service, or other, right? This right here is definitely going to help you, because now if someone's who's in, let's say, delivery service, and let's say, or retail, I'm sorry, the retail service, and that there's a lot of restrictions going on, so they may be out of work, you could target people who actually work at retailers. And now you can say, hey, listen, I know you're home, you're probably bored out of your mind, but do you really want to go back to work when it opens up? Well, if your answer is no, then hey, check out this free video that I'm going to share with you on how to 3 times or 10x your income, so that way you never have to go back to work ever again. You get how powerful that is, right? Then the next thing is, where do they hang out? Are they someone who goes to the bar, someone who goes to church, someone who goes to club, coffee shop, mall, museum, online school, sporting events, restaurants, other, exact places, you'll find them. This is also another powerful thing, because someone who goes to church is different from someone who goes to the bar, obviously, right? Or go club it, so just by doing these worksheets and doing this exercise, you're going to have a really great idea on who you're going to, number one, go after, number two, the messaging, and number three, you're going to be able to continually put products in front of these people, right? Because every one of these avatars are going to have different needs and different wants. And one thing I'm going to talk about in the future is I'm going to talk about, building out your funnel. So, your funnel flow. And when I say build out your funnel flow, I mean, what does it look like? What products do you have in there that they're going to be presented with that's going to trigger you some type of commission, whether it's your business opportunity or whether it's a product that you have, an introductory product then you have a follow-up product after that, or maybe it's a product that is a reoccurring and you just reminding them. So, all that we're going to talk about later. That's the funnel flow. But you have to do this first, because if you skip this part, everything else breaks, right? Because if you don't know who you're going after, you don't know your avatar, you don't know their pain points, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute, none of this really works. None of this really applies. So make sure you go through this worksheet. And I think this is the last one. Yeah, this is the last one. So their favorite music genre, right? Whether they're alternative, blues, classic, country, disco, funk, hip hop, house, jazz. You get what I'm saying? Their favorite artists. These are totally different people, right? These are totally different people than the books they read, whether they read comics, right? Someone who reads a comic book versus someone who reads romance, those are two different separate people, right? So, just identifying and seeing who it is that you are trying to go after is very, very important. And then events they go to, whether they're festivals, go to concerts, conferences, films, network performances, seminars, social, stay at home, work meetings, or other. And then the last one is competitors. Who has your audience now? This here will make it so much easier. I'm going to show you a tool that Facebook gives us for free that gives us all this data. So if you don't have no idea who your avatar is or who you want to target, you can start to kind of create your custom audiences within Facebook's just free tool that they give you that I'm going to show you in just a minute. Oh, and then this is the things that they buy. So whether they buy clothing, food, drink, health, beauty, home garden, household products, kid products, pet products, even the favorite TV shows. That's the next one. All this, write down all of these things, because all these things are going to help you to create, your avatar and to create a awesome targeted message. Okay. And then the people they follow, like artists, celebrities, influencers, musicians, or other. Once again, guys, this is going to help you to, retarget to target certain people that's on Facebook. Because say, for example, if someone likes Kevin Hart, for an example, and I did this campaign not too long ago for someone, and we did a messenger campaign. So within Messenger, we did a mini chat flow, and in the flow of the mini chat, and if you don't know what a mini chat is, it's a chat bot that you could set up, and it automatically communicates with people based off what they say in that sequence. I'll show you that in another training, but if I know in that particular campaign, someone commented something on a post, it will instantly send them a message in their inbox, and I'll have a picture or a GIF of Kevin Hart saying, "Let's do this," or "Let's," you know what I mean? And so now it's like, wow, okay, I like Kevin Hart too. That's kind of like, it's congruent, right? It's like, oh, wow, this person who just did this, I love Kevin Hart. They love Kevin Hart too. So that's kind of like some kind of neutral ground that you guys can develop right then and there. You know what I'm saying? Make sense? Now, the last thing, once you get your avatar set up, then you want to do the problem consequences worksheet. This here is also super powerful, because you want to identify the 3 greatest pains that your product solves, okay? And then you identify the 3 greatest consequences that they would face, because that, they will face if they don't have your product. So for an example, if I'm in a business or online business or network marketing or what have you, business, then I would say, okay, my avatar faces the number 1 problem I would say is that they never make any money in their business opportunity. The consequences of that is that if they're married, they may getting multiple arguments with their spouse because they keep spending money and no money is coming back in. The other consequence to that point is that they can ultimately get divorced and be alone, become a drug addict or what have you. You get what I'm saying? So it's the deeper you start to peel that onion back of these, what we call emotional triggers. And the more you get deeper, the more it's going to kind of hurt them. And it's going to be like, wow, yeah, I really need this product because I've been, spending hundreds of dollars on these business opportunities. I never make any money, and my spouse is always getting on me about it, and we argue all the time. And man, I need to do something, right? So your messaging can be something just like that. Hey, are you tired of arguing with your spouse about, spending money, never making any money back? Well, hey, look, I want to help you out. I want to give you my 3-step formula or what have you, right? Another consequence that they can face by having money going out is that you could end up being broke. And by you being broke, you can be homeless, right? Lose your house because you no longer can pay your rent or your mortgage. And now you got your family on the street, and now your kids are eating out of garbage cans because you can't afford to feed them. You know what I mean? So now you just kind of aggravate the pain points, kind of like throwing salt in the wound. So you just go through those, right? The 3 pain points. Another pain point that they can have in network marketing is no support, right? That could be it's frustrated because they have no support. And the consequences of not having support is that you don't know where to start. And since you don't know where to start, you end up just quitting and starting over and over, and you feel like you're just a big loser because you're not getting anywhere. You're seeing other people go places and you're still stuck in the same exact place you were stuck at 6 months ago. You get what I'm saying? So if you go through these worksheets and you go through these 3, identify the 3 greatest pains and the 3 greatest consequences they would face, trust me when I tell you, your emails will be on point. Your ad copy would be on point. I mean, your Facebook posts will be on point. Your YouTube videos would be on point. This is another thing that you can use this for, is YouTube videos. That's also something that you got to think about when you're doing videos. Who am I doing this video for? And by doing this, especially the 3 greatest pains and the 3 greatest consequences, you can just keep doing this over and over again. And just, if you find more pains, perfect, because then you have more content to create. All right. So this was this lesson here, guys. I hope that you took notes, and definitely make sure you go through these worksheets and fill out every single one of them. All right. See you in the next lesson.